I'm race engineer for the 27 car.
The importance of an engineer is hard to put into words.
Obviously, just to maximize the performance of my car.
I mean, the engineer and driver relationship is the most critical on the team, and he's your really main point of contact for everything that goes on throughout a race weekend that's competition related.
I would say, it's like in NASCAR, I'd be a crew chief, right? So I the general operation of the car and its performance. So
I don't know if he would be a good wingman. I think he's been out of the game for a while.
I didn't get to talk to my child yesterday because it's a different time zone, and so she went to bed, and when I left the track it was like 1:30 at home. So, and then couldn't talk to her today because I'm here. So she's 11 and she won the science fair yesterday, grand prize. So that's why it's a big deal.
And what he thinks is cool is not, because some of the text messages and gifs, I guess, that he sends along are not that funny, but he thinks they're hilarious. So.
I'm from Lithopolis, Ohio, which is outside of Columbus. I always say I'm from the streets of Lithopolis.
He thinks he's hood, but he's not really. He tries once we get to Long Beach, because he thinks that that's his time to kind of get hood, I guess you can say. But he also kind of just built a house in Indianapolis, in the suburbs, and flies airplanes. So it's pretty far from the streets, I think.
I started in Formula Atlantics in 1996, and then my first year in IndyCar was 1998.
I mean, it's cool, his story. I mean, he kind of started at the bottom in terms of race teams, right, and his role, and he worked his way up through a mechanic, then being an assistant engineer, a sim engineer, and now a race engineer. And
so you generally have to start with a smaller one of the feeder series to get in. Sometimes you can find a spot and work your way up through the team, but if you want to stay in the industry and be in it for a while, you have to be the guy that when you're done with your job, you don't just go home, you go help somebody else in another department, and that's what gets you noticed. Because I started out as a mechanic, and I worked my way up to a race engineer. And
so he knows how to relate to all the people that are on the team, and he doesn't kind of have any prejudice against anyone regardless of what their role is. And the fact that he kind of went through all the steps, the guys have a huge amount of respect for him, and I think that's another one of his quality characteristics.
I didn't want to be a race engineer until I saw one drive in a really nice car. I'm like, ooh, I want that job. And now that I have it, I'm like, I don't know, it's a lot of pressure. I don't sleep very well.
Him and I are just, we're unique in the sense that we both, I think, enjoy, or we dislike losing way more than we like winning. And it's that kind of determination that gets us out of bed each morning, to make sure that we maximize ourselves and our potential that we know that we have. I think he's an incredibly talented engineer, and he has a great mind for it. And also he's just a little bit crazy.
I was huge into drag racing originally, and I wanted to become an engine builder. And so I went to a technical school first to become an engine builder. And as I was driving home one day, because I had about a 2-hour round trip or a 2-hour drive each way to school, I saw a Formula Atlantic team, and I stopped by, and they were like, "Do you know how to use a computer?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I became what we call a DAG on the Atlantic team, and then I was like, "I don't want to build engines anymore. This is way cooler than drag racing." So there is no rock star life. I like the pace. When you work in, I have a friend who went to work for General Motors, and he worked 9 months on a project to do a power steer or a power mirror. And I'm like, man, we'll get back from one race and we have 3 days to get a drawing, get it to the machine shop, get it made, and it goes on the car. It's like the QC is the first lap it does on track, and you have to get your FEA process right and all that to be able to do it. So that's what I like.
We see eye to eye on a lot of things, outside of the racetrack as well, and we become really good friends. He's a lot of fun, and everyone enjoys being around him. He has a great energy, and it's cool to have him on the team.